Hi and welcome to this video, which is an introduction to critical writing. So here really what we're aiming to do is bring together the learning that you've already undertaken from the videos that you've watched around what critical thinking is and how to build an argument. And what we're really looking to do is to explore how those critical thinking skills can be applied to your written assignments, for example. We'll also demonstrate how you can build an argument in your writing with examples and demonstrate how to synthesize a range of different sources of evidence. It's really important at this stage that you will all be working at different levels. So you may find that you'll take away some of the points and you'll work and develop over time to build some of the other points as we go along. I also encourage you to ensure that you continue to work with your lecturer or tutor through your supervisions or one-to-one academic tutorials to ensure that you are really also working towards the way that your lecturers and lecturing team are looking for you to present your work as well. Throughout, you'll notice that I'll be referring to sources of reference and I'll be using the Harvard referencing guidelines. And again, if you're using different sources of conventions, I should say, of referencing, then of course use those that are relevant to your own course of study. So here what I've got is I've got an written extract which brings in together the principles of description, analysis and evaluation throughout, and we'll encourage you to look out for those as we progress. I'm obviously not expecting you to read this all really quickly, but if you'd like, of course, you can stop the video to have a read through, but I will be drawing upon each of these paragraphs as we proceed through the video. What you'll notice is that I'm referring to just one source of reference, that's Kumar here, and the full reference is on the back of this presentation or at the end. So what you'll notice is I've started to prepare a very short assignment, and I've got some core things that I want to ensure that I write about. But what we're going to do, first of all, so I've already decided and established what points I want to include in my assignment. But obviously I want to build an argument within that too. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look at each of those paragraphs and we'll look at how we can expand on them using different sources of reference. Okay, feel free to stop the video now if you'd like to, otherwise keep watching. So let's look at paragraph 1 then. So this is the original paragraph. You notice I've got a direct quote in there as well. So I've here referred to what research is and explained what it's characterised by. So you'll notice that the whole of this presentation is based upon research as a topic, but obviously you would translate this to whatever topic you are writing about, whatever you've been set. So let's show what the difference we've made here in this first example. So I'm keeping everything in black, which is my original quote. But what you'll notice, I've just added here in blue that I have got a new argument. So I've set this as Bhattacharjee in 2012 argues that definitions of research vary. So I put it at the front, and then I've expanded upon that and given an explanation of what Kumar has to say. Okay, so now my paragraph has got one additional person in this. Now, if you notice, after the black, you'll notice that we've got language which I'm using here furthermore. So this is really extending our argument or what the position I'm trying to make. And I've added that Bastow et al. Assert research in social sciences focus on shifting human behaviours, arguing research in the social sciences cannot be proven logistically. Instead, conclusions are based on generalisations. So here what you can see, I've added an additional perspective to this. So I'm starting to really build my argument here, which is making it a little bit more interesting for the reader and showing that you've undertaken wider reading and more analysis here. Now I've extended that a little bit further with our next paragraph, next sentence I should say, to the paragraph. And you can see with the red here, we've got this contrasts with. I won't continue to read all the sentences, obviously you can do that in your own time. Feel free to stop and watch the video as I'm talking. But what I've now done is within our argument, I've started to see different perspective here. So I'm using language, this contrasts with, I could use contrastingly, and the number of different phrases that you can use, but I've shown a different perspective here. So now I've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4 different references, which is really trying to build that original position or statement, which was in black. Let's extend that even further. If you look towards the bottom, I start with the red with similarly language, and Hager Johnson, so that's my new reference. So they are saying, similar to what Bhattacharjee is saying, they also see that there is a difference, for example. So they're saying something similar, but kind of extending upon it as well. So I'm getting a really rich, diverse array of different perspectives about what research is, and the analysis behind that of what constitutes research as well. So we'll give you some more examples using paragraph 2 then. Let's look at our original paragraph. So you see again, it's all in black, and we'll start to add to that and build an argument with wider resources, so synthesizing different perspectives. So here we've got our original paragraph, which is in black. Moving on, what we've done is I've used language and Hager Johnson this time to expand upon what Kumar is saying. So I've used the word expand, so another verb for you to demonstrate that you're widening the context for within which the argument is being presented. And we can look at that a little bit further as well. So this time I've started the next sentence after the language and Hager Johnson one, where I said to illustrate further. So here now I've started to explain and actually demonstrate my understandings. It's always really good to demonstrate your understanding. So you can use, for example, I particularly like to illustrate as sentence starters or openings. And I've used also accordingly, which means as a result of. I've started to build that even further. So again, this is what we're really encouraging you to do, is start to think about, okay, so I'm making my statement, I'm expanding on it, I'm giving some examples of that too. Let's look at paragraph 3 then. So original paragraph is actually quite a long paragraph here. Feel free if you want to take time to stop the video to read that. Let's take you to the next slide. So I've kept the paragraph really quite similar to the original one, but I have added another point here in blue at the bottom from Cohen et al. That I kind of start to explore that how that can help by using different viewpoints as well. So I'm really starting to do some evaluation here. So I'm starting to say what the benefits are, what the significance, and what that can do to help. So I've said to provide richer data to examine. So let's look at paragraph 4 then. So here we go, simple paragraph from our original text. Moving across, what I've done here, now if you notice, I've got Saunders et al. In that first line here, in addition to Kumar. So I've added an additional reference. It's known as a multiple reference. So you put it in date order, oldest first, with our referencing conventions. And so what I'm saying is, not only Kumar thinks research is not without its challenges, Saunders et al. Are also saying this. Okay, so that's a really nice way of using multiple references to strengthen your argument, because we've got both sets of authors, researchers confirming that is the case. Now, what I've done towards the end of the paragraph, I've added Cohen et al. And this time I've used the verb concur, which is in red here. So using the word concur means agree with. So I'm starting to really strengthen that even more by agreeing with what Kumar has to say and explaining their point of view in more detail. And finally, we'll look at paragraph 5. So what you'll see in the last paragraph here, it's really a concluding paragraph. And I've started to bring in the core learning points. So here we're also evaluating really as well, but we're bringing together the core learning points from the argument that's been presented in the text in the preceding paragraphs. But this one really focused just on Kumar, as we've had with all of our original paragraphs. But this time we're going to change that. So I'm going to bring together in my first sentence, so in the third line, I've now said that whilst I've used Langridge and Haggard-Johnson as well as Kumar, because both of them agree that it's essential for using and developing professional practice. And if you'd notice on the previous slide, I'll just go back one, I used ibid at the end of that paragraph. That means the same as the previous reference. Now, I've changed that this time because actually I've referred to just Kumar this time because the point that I was trying to make hasn't come from both the two sets of authors in the reference above, okay? It's just one. And developing that further, I've just added within the paragraph this time, and I'll draw your attention to the fifth line, starting at moreover in red. I've added Bhattacharya's perspective as well. So I'm bringing together the different perspectives all into the same concluding paragraph. And this time on the last sentence, you'll notice we had got Kumar 2019 already there, but I've now added Cohen et al. Because they're agreeing with Kumar that despite its benefits, it's really important to have a really good understanding of the research process. So you can see how I'll be able to build multiple references here to support my argument, which have been drawn upon from the work that has already been written and precedes this paragraph. So I'm not adding anything new in here, just summarising. So what you'll have here on the next page is my references that I've used. That's following the Harvard referencing guidelines, which we use at our institution here. However, you'll have your own ways of doing that as well. So hopefully this has really given you a good idea of how you can transform your writing from looking at more than just one perspective, but building on a range of different perspectives, using your critical thinking skills, so using that description, that analysis, that evaluation, and bringing and synthesizing it together, so bringing it together to provide one written piece. So I hope this gives you a really good idea of what we're kind of encouraging your work to start to look towards. Again, you'll be working at your own pace, so feel free to work at your own speed in terms of bringing together different sources, but this will give you a really excellent idea as to how your work could look like in the future. And I also encourage you to continue to read books, read journals, just to see how the writers, the researchers, the authors bring together different people's work as well, and how they synthesize that argument, which will really reinforce what we're sharing with you today. Thank you for taking the time to watch.